I hope somebody gives me a Jenny after this. Man. President Seligman, university trustees, graduates, faculty, parents, friends, undergraduates, and that creepy guy at the back who just keeps coming to this thing. Please join me in a hearty congratulations to the University of Rochester class of 2016. As a fellow UR alumnus, I want you to know that not long ago, I sat where you sit. At 2 o'clock this morning, I snuck onto campus and tested out the chairs, every last one of them. You guys at the back, you've got the worst seats, by the way, so maybe come here earlier next time. I am thrilled to be here today, and I really do understand the seriousness of this occasion. So I devoted my time, energy, and resources in the same manner that you might have devoted to a senior thesis. So late last night I began. After chugging 2 Red Bulls, updating my Twitter profile pic, and buying a new pair of shoes on Zappos. As you leave the university here today, it's time to reflect back on your time by the Genesee. Moving in on the first day of freshman year, studying till late at Rush Rees, passing organic chem, D-Day, garbage plates, learning to cross a cemetery in the dark. You know, it's a funny thing standing here as a member of Generation X. What sort of information could someone from my generation possibly impart upon you? You who grew up with Google and Wikipedia, with basically the entire history of the world at your fingertips. So I realize that it's probably time that somebody from Generation X gave you some hard truths. You know, as Irma Bombeck once wrote, when your mother asks, do you want a piece of advice, it's a mere formality. It doesn't matter if you answer yes or no, you're going to get it anyway. I know that you're probably expecting some advice to get you out of school and into the real world. Well, rather than give you some fridge magnet cliches, I'm going to give you some guidance that you can actually use. First, never ever wear sandals to a 41-degree commencement ceremony. I only regret that some of you did not receive this advice before this morning. Secondly, floss. When you find that your health insurance runs out and you no longer have dental coverage, a little preventative flossing will literally save your teeth. Flossing isn't just for the 24 hours prior to you go to a dentist appointment. Third, and most importantly, never get a $5 haircut at a haircutting school. This decision resulted in a haircut called Japanese Temple for a young Erica Fee. By the time it grew back, you'll have lost all your friends and the majority of your self-confidence. But what I really want, well, really all those things are very important. They're not my real message today. What I really want to impart upon you high achievers, you who knew how to get through the university, how to fill in a FAFSA, what to order at Douglas or Danforth, what not to order at Douglas or Danforth, how to navigate the tunnels, you who figured out when the pit actually closes. I am here to tell you the real, honest, unvarnished, naked, quivering truth about how to plan for success once you leave UR today. This is serious. There is no plan. Once you leave UR today, there is no real way to set a plan for success. And for most of you, success will be about the opposite of planning, being adaptable and fluid as you make your path, but always staying true to who you are. Basically, I'm here to caution you about the dangers of rigid planning. Because you are constantly evolving and changing, the plans you make today will ultimately be carried out by a version of yourself that you don't fully know yet. When I was your age, I actually went through this commencement ceremony after my first 4 years in 1998. The following year, I'd been selected for Take 5, but I went through with my entering class. Anyway, at the time, I was about to embark upon a summer-long Princeton Review LSAT course because I had a plan, law school. I was a political science and American history major, and my family thought that being a lawyer would be a good career. Plus, college is expensive, and I needed to offset the cost with a huge salary. So my plan was to nail the LSAT, go to some fancy pants law school, and bring home the big bucks. Meanwhile, I had always dreamed of becoming an actor, but that wasn't part of the plan. Perhaps I could become an actor after a career as a lawyer, and maybe they could even complement each other. That's the crazy stuff I was actually thinking. Like, when my clients told me long, boring stories, I could act like I was interested. But then two things happened. First, at the end of the 90s, literally everyone and their brother decided to go to law school. So at the time, graduating from law school was not a guarantee of employment anymore, and there were quite a few starving lawyers. And secondly, I had a wonderful internship with the Monroe County DA's office, and on my final day, their advice to me was, and I shall never forget, "Erica, we like you. Don't become a lawyer." This resulted in a transformation during my Take 5 year in which I decided to follow George Burns's advice. I'd rather be a failure at something I love than a success at something I hate. This was not a popular decision that I was making, and the pushback was almost extreme. I was given advice like, "It's a shame you were so smart, and you'll be bankrupt within 6 months, and, well, you're probably just burnt out." But regardless of the comments, I went about auditioning at top drama schools in the UK, and I was accepted into the oldest drama school in Britain. I graduated the grueling program, and I became a professional actor. The work was very tough, but it was rewarding, and that was my plan, and I stuck with it for a while. But then something happened, and my plans started to shift. While just starting work as an actor, I was cast in a huge hit show at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, a comedy called I Am Star Trek, a show about the life and times of Gene Roddenberry in which 9 actors played over 70 characters. It was life-changing, both professionally, as the show then transferred to London twice, and the experience of a Fringe festival. And I remember thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if Rochester had a no-holds-barred festival like this? I continued to act, but I also started to produce theater. I trained with the Society of London Theatres, opened my own production company, embarked upon London shows and Edinburgh Fringe shows and tours. I launched my first major tour of the biggest theatres in the UK just as the economy started to tank due to the collapse of 2008. That was fun. And then in 2009, I happened to be back in the US, and I met with Nigel Master here at Todd Theatre. And during our conversation, I said to him, "Why do you think it is that Rochester doesn't have a Fringe festival?" And his response was, "It's funny you should ask. A group has been working on a performing arts festival for a year now. You should meet with them." One thing led to another, and I told the group, "If you want a Fringe festival, then I would love to produce it." And they eventually said yes. So my plans had to change again. We then became our own separate nonprofit organization. The first festival was in 2012, an overnight success, 4 years in the making. And you're probably wondering, why am I telling you all this information that you could have read in my bio? And it's this: your lives won't unfold according to plan. Your plans at 22 will not be the same as they are at 32, and they will change every decade or sooner. You have something very good going for you right now, and it's that you don't know everything. And that is a beautiful thing, because you can take risk, you can take chances, you can throw it all on the line now, and the plans, they will adapt as you go. You don't need to have life all planned out. How many people do you know have the same careers when they graduated college? Let me qualify this. How many members of Generation X or even your fellow millennials have already changed, adjusted, and adapted? The days of joining a company and staying with it until you retire are gone. The days of having the same career from tomorrow until you retire are gone. And life throws curveballs too. Birth, death, marriage, divorce, job opportunities, layoffs, the peak of health and sickness. You don't know where the road is going. And while you should plan for your immediate future and have overall goals, leave yourself some breathing room too, so that the plan doesn't govern you. There is nothing more banal than for a speaker at these sorts of events to tell you, just shoot for the stars. Well, your plan to shoot for the stars has probably changed since freshman year. And it will change again and again and again. And I'm here to tell you, that's okay. I leave you today with that. Life is not an on-off switch, it's a rheostat. Your liberal arts education here at UR has prepared you to adapt. Now you must take the challenge to leave your minds open so that you can. Thank you and congratulations.